During the 2025 NFL Draft, one absence drew more attention than many of the picks announced on stage. The free fall, one of the most high-profile names in the class, exposed a quiet behind-the-scenes decisions that teams make, and one of them was the Las Vegas Raiders. In a move that caught many by surprise, the team repeatedly passed on a tempting opportunity, opting to preserve its new coaching direction and perhaps avoid a specific type of distraction. But what exactly led them say no so many times? And what does it say about the future that Pete Carroll and John Spike are planning? Should Sanders fall to the fifth round of the draft, was one of the most talked about moments of the weekend, projected by many to be a first or second round town early in the offseason. The Colorado quarterback, son of the legendary Deion Sanders, has seen his name passed over by franchise after franchise. In the case of the Las Vegas Raiders, the decision was even more significant. The team had several opportunities to select him, but chose not to do so despite speculation surrounding a possible connection with Tom Brady, a minority shareholder in the franchise. According to journalist Mike Sando of The Athletic, the Raiders were the team that ignored Sanders the most during the draft process, passing on him 9 times and making 2 trades that took them away from the quarterback. This pattern was not random. According to an NFL executive interview by Sando, Coach Pete Carroll would have avoided any scenario that could generate tension with Geno Smith, a newly arrived quarterback and old acquaintance from his time in Seattle. The logic, according to the executive, is clear. While the Atlanta Falcons had the freedom to draft Michael Penix Jr. because they had no previous ties to Kirk Cousins, Carroll is directly linked to Geno Smith's arrival in Las Vegas. Repeating what Atlanta did with Cousins would put the Raiders' locker room at risk early in Carroll's tenure. The veteran coach, who likely sees his cycle as his last in the NFL, is unwilling to risk his relationship with his starting quarterback, especially on a team still under construction. In addition, there's an off-field factor that weighed against Sanders, his notoriety. The Sanders name carries media attention, a constant presence on social media, and a high expectation of both performance and influence behind the scenes. Jeff Howe, also The Athletic, pointed out that teams often prefer to have a low-profile back of quarterback to avoid conflicts of prominence. For the Raiders, immersed in a careful rebuild, adding that burden of public exposure would be an unnecessary risk. Instead, they opted for Cam Miller, a less hyped prospect who offered stability and development without the shadow of external controversy. Ultimately, the Raiders' decision to pass on Shedeur Sanders reflects not only a coaching assessment, but also a roster strategy. Carroll and Spike are prioritizing cohesion, leadership, and long-term planning. By avoiding spectacle and focusing on stability, they sent a clear message. The Raiders' rebuilding project will be guided by thoughtful decisions, not media-savvy names.